Guns and gun ownership are some of the toughest issues in American politics. On one side are people who say there are too many guns, too much violence, and too many deaths. On the other side are people who say the Constitution gives citizens the right to bear arms. President Biden recently invoked the Second Amendment to justify new efforts to prevent gun crimes. You can agree or disagree with Biden's proposals, but we wanted to know, did Joe Biden get his history right on the Second Amendment?
The Second Amendment, from the day it was passed, limited the type of people who could own a gun and what type of weapon you could own. You couldn't buy a cannon.
Is that so? It's time for the Truth-O-Meter Minute. Hey everybody, it's Angie with PolitiFact. Let's talk about the history of the Second Amendment. We'll start with the basics. Here's what the Constitution says. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So those specific words don't say you can own a cannon, but they don't say you can't either. Over the years, there have been many court cases to resolve whether the Constitution gives individuals a right to bear arms. In 2008, the U.S. Supreme Court said that it does. Setting aside the disagreements over that ruling, and there are many, we reached out to historians and experts who've studied the history of the Second Amendment. They told us there weren't really federal gun laws until the beginning of the 20th century. There were local laws limiting guns before that, but they weren't aimed at criminals. A 1792 Virginia law banned black people, whether they were free or enslaved, from owning guns. Other laws targeted Native Americans. Those laws were aimed at social control, not crime prevention. What about owning your own cannon? There was no law banning cannon ownership at the time that the Bill of Rights was passed. We know from historical documents that privateers set sail in the 1800s with their own private cannons, with no documented legal problems. Fast forward to when gun makers started perfecting the manufacture of high-quality, reliable guns. That's when federal gun laws really started. In 1934, for example, there was the National Firearms Act. This was targeted at the machine guns that gangsters favored when they were trying to get around prohibition. So when it comes to the Second Amendment, Biden's history does not get a passing grade. We reached out to the White House for their reaction, but we didn't hear back. Time for the verdict. Joe Biden said the Second Amendment from the day it was passed limited the type of people who could own a gun and what type of weapon you could own. That rate's false. And the claim that people couldn't own a cannon? That rate's false too. Subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. And if you support our independent, evidence-based fact-checking without fear or favor, consider becoming a contributor. You can find us at PolitiFact.com/donate.